You're watching NASA TV.
Good morning and welcome. This is Mission Control Houston. This morning, 2 astronauts have put on their spacesuits and are getting ready to venture outside of the International Space Station for a spacewalk. NASA astronaut Nicole Mann and Japanese astronaut Koichi Wakata are our spacewalkers today, and their goal is to install some hardware to the outside of the space station to prepare for the future installment of IROSAs, or ISS Rollout Solar Arrays, and we'll get into a little bit more about what those are in just a minute. But this spacewalk is part of an ongoing effort to upgrade the space station's power system. Today's spacewalk focuses on installing a support structure that a future solar array can be attached to in the future. This support structure is made up of 6 struts and a mounting bracket, but remember, no actual solar arrays are going to be put on today. The spacewalk is a continuation, or a Part 2 spacewalk for Mann and Wakata. They began work to install this hardware on Friday, January 20th, and are set to complete the job today over the course of a spacewalk that could last up to 7 hours. This includes finishing up some work on the lower strut and installing the mid strut. They'll also be doing some get-ahead tasks if time allows. So you can see NASA astronaut Frank Rubio not in the spacesuit on the left of your screen there. He's what's known as a suit IV. The name is referring to a crew member who's responsible for getting through the procedures to safely get the spacewalkers out on their way out the door. This includes helping the spacewalker put their spacesuit on, recording the status of the suit, and getting them ready for depressurization.
Okay, Koichi, switch, depress pump power off, OFS.
Verify the depress pump power OFS.
By depress pump enable LED on, OM.
Verified on.
Alright, Koichi, depress pump man ISO valve closed. You can both expect an alert on.
Okay, depress pump manual ISO valve closed.
Okay, next you're both going to be performing a leak check. So switch display, you're going to go to status until you see leak check question mark displayed, and then you'll have a long yes to select.
EV2's in the leak check. Correction, EV1.
EV2 is in leak check.
Okay, let's have leak check selected and just follow the displayed instructions. Let me know when you're complete.
Okay, EV1 is out of the airlock.
Great work, Duke. You can turn on your HECA. Koichi, you'll get the mid-strut ready to transfer to EV1.
And after completing their buddy checks, they are off onto their work sites. During these buddy checks, Koichi Wakata and Nicole Mann checked out their counterparts, made sure that the green lights were on their cameras, as well as some others. They also checked out their SAFER handles. Remember SAFER we talked about earlier in the coverage, SAFER being the Simplified Aid for EVA Rescue. That's these backpacks they're wearing on their backs.
Copy, Duke. And Koichi,
Lighter's locked, it's black on black.
Copy, Duke. And standby crew, Koichi, we're seeing your SAFER door is actually popping open. We'll get words to you in just a moment. Okay, crew. We actually recommend that Duke head back to the airlock to help Koichi with that safer door. You can leave the anchor hooks where they are, and Duke, head back to the airlock.
Okay, EV1 copy.
Okay.
That's where I put it.
We're back to the point of view of NASA astronaut Nicole Mann. She's heading back to Koichi Wakata, who is at the airlock working on closing the hatch door. Part of Koichi Wakata's safer unit, that backpack that he wears on his back, is popped open. It's really difficult to reach behind you in these spacesuits, so Nicole Mann is making her way back to help him pop that back into place. Nicole Mann now re-entering your frame on the left side of the screen. She is now with Koichi Wakata at the airlock.
Orientation. Or you to access the safer door.
Let me take a look here.
Hey, Duke, your feet are caught on Koichi's safety tether. Just watch out there. They're currently behind your calves.
Okay, now it's clear.
Okay. I think I'll stay here by
Nice
coming
work.
down lower since.
I'm going to go here.
And just some words for you guys as you're getting set up. A reminder, there's a pin for that safer handled door, the safer door that's going to have to go back into a hole. And so I would recommend that, Duke, you hold the door closed, pull up slightly on that safer handle, and then fully close the door and try to reseat the handle in order to get that handle back in the pin.
Okay. Koichi, can you go on your back more? Just lift your hips a little more towards me. Okay, that's good.
Okay.
The safer unit is in the center of your screen there, so you see the American flag, NASA logo. Behind it, we have the safer unit that's not designed for use during the spacewalk, but in the unlikely event that they get untethered, they can use this device to get them back to the space station. Koichi Wakata's is being a little sticky, so Nicole Mann is assisting get it into the right configuration.
Okay, yeah, it was like the tiniest bit out. I pushed it, pulled up and then down, and I felt it click in, and now it looks totally flush. All right, Koichi, I'm going up to Theta 4.
Okay, I'll follow you.
Okay, pause right there, Koichi. Let me just get past you here.
Okay, I park here.
While troubleshooting this lower strut, they'll need to make sure that there's no gap between the strut and the physical bearing. They'll essentially want to confirm that the two pieces they've connected are flush and not angled with an uneven gap. They'll also do a wiggle test on the same piece of hardware to make sure that the bearing moves with the strut. They want to see that the bolt and the bolt canister can move together, that the bearing and the strut move together.
Outboard on the non-radiator side of the IEA.
Okay, hold a little bit, and then the bolt head and the canister both can move together.
Moving on to the next tool at their disposal. Some of the troubleshooting items here, they used a adjustable equipment tether on the handrail to try to get that into place. Now we're moving on to using one of the hammers that they have in their toolbox.
Okay, I will use the hammer then. Okay, copy that.
You're seeing the point of view of Japanese astronaut Koichi Wakata on a spacewalk to install a support structure to hold solar arrays one day. He's working on the mid-strut. It's the thing you see in your upper rightmost corner of your screen. That's the insulation there. As well, sometimes underneath his hammer, you'll see something with an arrow. That is what he's trying to soft dock with the mass canister. You can see he's tried a number of troubleshooting items. There's a tether in place there, kind of pulling it into place, and now he's using his hammer to try to get into place as well.
Okay. Okay, yeah, that will be helpful. Did you do the pitch? Not the, I would say, so make this side pad go this way. Know what I mean?
So that would be a yaw from my perspective.
So your body is gonna offset, but that's the yaw, but no, that's not the orientation. Okay, Zena, do you see the gap on my right side here?
It's in shadow right now.
I'm pointing at...
I do see it, yes.
Okay, I'm pointing... Okay. Wire, and because of this gap on this side, the left side doesn't have any gap, so it's really tight on the left side where I'm pointing at now. It seems to be that somehow the right side needs to engage further to the left.
All right, Koichi, we are talking it down here. If we could get your best big picture summary of what you think is going on, what might be interfering, whether it's the side pad itself, if it's the detents, and I think you got that bottom detent engaged before. Is that correct?
No, it's not very positive. I don't think it was... engaged. Seems to me that the detent is not interference. Just the width of the side pad may not be big enough. And then so I'm still not 100% sure if the detents are preventing from this installation or not.
Okay, copy.
I am using the...
do you think the lip of the side pad is actually hitting the GSE side pad structure?
Actually, that's also a negative. Looks like it's, this left side, the lip is already engaged on the left side of this structure, so... So interference seems to me that it's probably the detent. Looks like from here, but the detent, even if I push it down, it does not. Even if I push down the detent, still it does not engage.
Koichi Wakata reporting what he can see, what he has tried, as well as giving his own recommendations to the crew here in Mission Control. They're weighing their options and talking as a group and sending some recommendations up. Joining us this morning, 2 astronauts are out on a spacewalk to complete installation of a mod kit or mounting bracket for future solar arrays. They started work on this back on January 20th, and they're back out for their second spacewalk to complete their work. The first time around, this mid-strut that they're working on now gave them a little bit of trouble, so now they're back for a part 2 to try to get that into place. Teams here in Mission Control are looking at the hardware now. They have an exact model of the hardware and are taking what Koichi Wakata is saying and seeing and feeling with his hands to try to come up with a solution.
And you want me to kind of wiggle it back and forth, or a steady pressure in the...
I think a steady, gentle pressure from you. If you can get the yawing motion heading to your body left, eventually the strut will hit a pin on the side pad, and that way you'll be able to actually apply pressure, as opposed to before you hit that pin, it'll be rotating around.
Yeah.
With a little more tension over that detent, you can give that a try.
Let me try that.
Astronaut Koichi Wakata working with tape in an effort to get that piece in his hands flush with the rectangle on the mass canister there. He's trying to soft dock them, and tape is just one of the many tools he's using to get that into place.
Oh, this, I use this, but now this, the plier broke.
Copy, Koichi.
Oh, keep it there, okay?
Great.
And then lower side is like it's in.
Okay.
Oh, that worked. Yeah? Lower side is yeah. Awesome.
In Koichi Wakata's hand, we're looking at his point of view now, the thing with the number 5 on it. That's the PGT, or the pistol grip tool. It's a battery-powered handheld tool, kind of similar to a drill, getting those bolts into place. You could see it in motion now.
To torque, expecting about 4 to 6 turns.
Okay, 4 to 6 turns to torque.
And the ground just communicated up to Koichi Wakata what his pistol grip tool settings should. You can see by looking at her feet that she's egressed or gotten off of her portable foot restraint that was keeping her in place as she assisted Koichi Wakata when he was working on the installation of the mid-strut. She's now moving on to other tasks. She's making her way over to the cable bag. It was originally taken out of the airlock and stowed temporarily until they needed it, and that time is now. So she's going to work on some cable routing while Koichi Wakata works on the right side of the mid-strut collar. He'd already worked to tighten and rigidize the left side.
We're with you guys. We're analyzing some EDAR data for you, Koichi. We'll have you just hang out there for a moment. Koichi, can we get a glove inspection, a very thorough glove inspection? Just make sure that there's no damage to your glove.
Yeah, gloves, good. Looks good to me.
A few minutes ago, Koichi Wakata was working on the right mid-strut collar, part of his task for the day, where he noticed a brief spike in his O2 data. He relayed this information to the ground, and we paused all activity as ground teams investigated what the cause could be. He did a a thorough glove check, and his levels had gone down right away. So during this pause and after some evaluation, our team decided that now that we are back at normal levels and it was a brief spike and the glove check was good, we're going to continue on, but teams are going to continue to monitor the situation.
It's in place.
Okay, copy EV1 and EV2. So Duke will be having you grab the cable bag and heading out to 1 Bravo. Koichi, you'll be working all of the MLI stuff here. In order to reinstall that pip pin that Duke saw not installed, this is the locking pip pin for the telescoping feature, you'll need to peel back the MLI a bit.
Meanwhile, they do indeed want Koichi Wakata to stow that portable foot restraint that gave them trouble during the last spacewalk onto a CETA cart. CETA cart meaning crew equipment translation aid cart. It's essentially an equipment locker, an area outside of the space station where they can store spare parts.
Hey, Duke, that looks great in your heck of you. So we'll have to just use one of the integral.
Okay,
They began their task back in January 20th, and Nicole Mann.
Okay, Koichi.
okay, we're ready to copy for the setting. Yep.
Nicole Mann and
Okay, so you're looking for
Koichi
clock
Wakata
about
have
11.
completed its construction today. They're also doing some additional tasks. Nicole Mann just brought some cables out to the 1B power channel, and Koichi's working on bringing a sticky portable foot restraint over to a CETA cart.
And setting up.
Portable foot restraint that Xena Cardman had requested.
Duke, just to confirm, are you seeing a different clocking on the scoop, or are you thinking it may have come unlocked?
No, not a different clocking. When I put the outboard one to lock, it was like I thought I had it to lock, and then I had to push it extra, and it moved more to lock. And this one just kind of went right into lock, so then I was second-guessing myself.
And Koichi, just watch out for that tether. You're going back and forth underneath Duke's safety tether right now.
Okay, I see it. Also, I think I was going to tail lead on the 2213 or 2214.
Koichi, I think the best plan of action is for you to back out the way you came. We're concerned about cross safety tethers and a big tangle here. We're at about 5 hours TET, so we want to avoid any safety tether crosses.
Copy that. Copy that.
And there's the bag floating just above our spacewalkers there.
Maybe your teaser that shows closed.
Astronaut Nicole Mann in your view now. Meanwhile, Koichi Wakata is still at the airlock. The cable bag he was working with is properly stowed, and now he's working to close the thermal cover of the airlock.
You're going to be grabbing the ingress aid from that sticky APFR that you brought inboard and transferring it to another APFR that's also on the starboard seated cart. It's in WIF 4.
Okay, I see that. Okay, I see that.
Okay, green hook is down.
You can see Wakata on your screen now installing a short wire tie on the INGRESS aid. This INGRESS aid goes onto the portable foot restraint, kind of helps the spacewalkers get their feet into it.
So, we'll try to take pictures as much as I can.
Copy, that's no problem, Koichi. Yeah, we'll just snag a couple photos and then we'll have you head inboard to the airlock and stay ahead of Duke there.
Wakata there acting as photographer. He's documenting this sticky portable foot restraint pitch joint. Gave them some trouble during the last spacewalk, so he's getting documentation so our ground teams can take a better look at it.
Okay, I'm coming down on the Cedar Spur.
Copy, Koichi.